All right, let's get straight into it. We're diving deep into one of the coolest topics in GCSE biology, the human nervous system. This is your complete revision guide for the AQA 4.5.2 spec, and we're going to make sure you're totally prepped for your exams.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with how your body basically responds to anything. Then we'll get into the super fast reflex arc, how you snatch your hand away from something hot without even thinking. After that, it's a trip to command central, the brain. Then we'll see how your eyes focus, and finally, wrap up with how your body keeps its temperature just right. Let's do this.
We've all been there, right? You touch something scorching and your hand is gone before your brain even gets the ouch message. That incredible speed is exactly what we're talking about today. It's your nervous system doing what it does best, protecting you. And it's all thanks to a very special pathway we're about to break down.
Okay, first up, your body's response system. Before we can get to those lightning-fast reactions, we need to understand the basic communication route your body uses for, well, pretty much everything it does.
The easiest way to think about your nervous system is like your body's own internal internet. It's this incredibly complex, high-speed network of wires that carries messages everywhere. And really, it has two massive jobs: letting you react to the world around you and making sure all your actions are coordinated.
Now this, right here, is super important. This 5-step sequence is how every single response happens. First, you have a stimulus, say your phone buzzes. Your skin cells are the receptor that detects it. That signal zips to the coordinator, which is your central nervous system. Your brain processes it and sends a command to an effector, maybe a muscle in your arm, which then carries out the response, picking up the phone. You absolutely need to know this order for your exam. Stimulus, receptor, coordinator, effector, response. It comes up all the time.
All right, on to section 2, the high-speed reflex arc. This is that special shortcut we were talking about, the one that saves you when you touch something you really shouldn't have.
So the definition tells you everything you need to know. A reflex is automatic, it's incredibly fast, and this is the most important part. It doesn't involve the conscious thinking part of your brain. And why? Simple. It's all about protection. It's designed to get you out of harm's way before you've even had a chance to think about what's happening.
This whole pathway is like a 3-person relay race. The race starts with the sensory neuron, which grabs the impulse from a receptor in your skin and carries it to the central nervous system. Once it's in the spinal cord, it passes the baton to a relay neuron. This guy acts like a simple switch, immediately handing the message off to the motor neuron. And that motor neuron sprints to an effector, like a muscle, and tells it to contract. Job done.
But wait, how does that impulse jump from one neuron to the next? Well, it can't. There's a tiny gap called a synapse. Since the electrical signal can't leap across, it triggers the release of special chemicals. These chemicals float across the gap and spark a new electrical impulse in the next neuron. It's a clever little chemical bridge. And here's a classic exam trip-up. Remember that across the synapse itself, the signal is chemical, not electrical.
And this table just lays it all out perfectly. A reflex, it's involuntary, ridiculously fast, and uses the spinal cord as a shortcut. A conscious action, like choosing a playlist, that's voluntary, way slower, and has to go all the way to the conscious brain for a decision. One is for pure survival, the other is for, everything else.
So, we've nailed the automatic pilot system. Now, let's head up to the main control room where all the big decisions are made. Section 3, Command Central, the brain.
Okay, for your exams, you've just got to know these 3. The big, wrinkly outer part is the cerebral cortex. Just think of that as your thinking cap. It handles intelligence, memory, all the complex stuff. At the back, you have the cerebellum. Think of that as your coordination center. It's what keeps you balanced. And then there's the medulla, which is basically your life support system, controlling things like breathing and your heartbeat without you ever noticing. Matching these parts to their jobs is a classic exam question, so get them learned.
Let's move on. Section 4. We're going to zoom in, literally, on one of your most important sense organs, the eye, and see how your nervous system pulls off the amazing trick of keeping the world in focus.
This whole process is called accommodation, and it's all about changing the lens shape. Now, to focus on something near, your ciliary muscles contract. This makes the suspensory ligaments go slack, which lets the lens bulge out and become thicker. To look at something distant, the complete opposite happens. The ciliary muscles relax, which pulls the ligaments tight and stretches the lens out thin. People get this mixed up all the time, so here's a tip. To see something close, your muscles have to work. They have to contract.
And for our last section, we're looking at another one of the nervous system's automatic, life-saving jobs, keeping your internal environment stable. This big idea is called homeostasis. So, Section 5, controlling body temperature.
So deep in your brain, you've got something called the thermoregulatory center. You could just think of it as your body's personal thermostat. It's got these amazing receptors that are constantly checking the temperature of the blood flowing past. Always asking, are we too hot? Are we too cold?
And what does it do about it? Well, if you're too hot, it triggers vasodilation. That's just a fancy word for widening the blood vessels near your skin to let heat escape. It also makes you sweat. If you're too cold, it does the reverse, vasoconstriction, narrowing those same blood vessels to trap heat inside. And of course, it makes your muscles shiver like crazy to generate more warmth. It's all about these clever opposing actions.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It all comes back to that one crucial concept: homeostasis. Whether it's a reflex action saving you from a burn or your body's shivering to stay warm, your nervous system is working 24/7 behind the scenes to keep your internal conditions absolutely perfect so your cells can do their jobs.
And that's a wrap on the human nervous system. It's an absolutely incredible bit of biological engineering, isn't it? As a final thought, just take a moment to consider all the other automatic things your body's doing for you right this second without you even asking. Good luck with all your revision.